All right, welcome to Quarantine Check-In. My guest today is actually the first unofficial guest I had on the show, but because of being an idiot and bad internet, that show never went live. So please welcome Dr. Jason Gilleran.
How you doing? Hello, everybody. Hi. Hey, Robert. How's it going?
Pretty good. I do have a question before we actually start. What is up with that wallpaper?
Yeah. I had to pick a spot, and this is the best Wi-Fi in the upper part of my house here. That's it's dandelions, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we had a gay designer pick it out. My wife went along with it, and I didn't do anything to stop it, so it got green lighted. I kind of like it, actually. I've been using this as my backdrop. Every once in a while, I'll blow on them and see what happens.
It looks like that is wallpaper from the 70s.
If it was like Harvest Gold dandelions, I would agree with you. I think it comes off a little bit more garish on there than in the actual real life. Maybe I live here. I don't even notice it.
Okay.
I can turn around and have brick behind me, but this is the best lighting too, I think so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So how are you keeping up in this time of quarantine?
Well, I've been on board with the whole quarantine thing once it actually happened to me. I guess I had to. I personally had to go into hiding for a couple of weeks. I was sick with COVID around March 21st. My wife was even sicker. I think people know about this. So she was not just quarantined. She was like, everyone was during that time was like, oh my God, what are we going to do with our time? And she was in bed and I was like nursing her. So at this point now, what if we was 6-7 weeks into this thing? 8 weeks?
About 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Feels like a year. I think the weather getting better is making it a little bit easier. I've been working, so I'm getting out of the house. But yeah, the social isolation thing, I think by June, I think we're all going to be really sick of like nothing, like we realize we're not going to be able to have like a big festival and a bunch of people together. But I think we're going to be like, okay, how do we make this work? How do we get back in touch in some way?
I think people are so sick of this. Before we started, I was just watching a news story about a gym in California that's defying the governor's order and is reopened.
Right.
I personally think that's really stupid because the county they're in is still one of the highest has one of the highest rate of COVID cases.
Right.
But
yeah,
we're at that point where selfishness is taking over.
It's gonna hit. Yeah. And what's really, all of this, I think I've made a joke about this or something about how it's almost like teenagers and parents going at it with, people, hey, I got to be free. I need to get out of the house. I'm 17 and my friends want to hang out and whatever. And the parents are like finger shaking and pointing. And, somewhere in between is where it's a reasonable thing. You can't ground everybody forever.
No, because that's when the riots will start.
Yep. Yeah, you could have some real unrest. But if they they say, we're going to open up gyms, okay? And then the gyms are like, oh, great. And the gyms say, okay, everybody, we put all our equipment 6 feet apart, and you can't do this and that, and you can't do that. And you got to wear a mask if you're doing this or something. People are going to be like, oh, screw that. That's where it's going to get stupid, where you get like, hey, little give and take. We'll get you some freedoms, but you got to respect.
I think 99% of the people will abide by the rules, but you'll have that one asshole who comes in, won't wear a mask, won't wear gloves.
Yeah, I know.
And that's the same one asshole who also refuses to wear a condom and doesn't want to take care of his babies.
Yeah, I want to feel the air. I want to feel everything on my face, man. Otherwise, you can't feel it,
I want my sweat to go into my mouth.
Yeah. Got dripped down my nose.
But
I don't know.
It's going to be interesting because I do agree the economy needs to start reopening.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to. It's. Well, I'll say this. This is my argument. It's the economy is one thing for sure, and I think that simplifying it is like, oh, let's get the economy back, and American people are willing to sacrifice for that. I'm like, nah, that's not the way it should be looked at. But at the same way, like this virus isn't going away. Like it ain't going away in June. It ain't going away in July. We're gonna have to deal with it again in the fall. And at some point, the people that we've got to there's not much immunity to it. That's the problem. There's very little, there's probably fewer people than we think at it. I don't know. We're starting to sound like a CNN.
Well, no, and I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm excited to have you on, because you are a medical doctor, even though this type of virus is not your area of expertise. No. You're more of an expert on dicks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you also went to medical school, and you have a greater comprehension than 99.9% of the people I know.
True. I'm used to wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And having had the COVID, I don't know how long I can be quote contagious. So I'm wearing a mask anywhere I'm in public because I'm not worried about getting it. I'm worried about giving it, just like I would be at my job and I'm operating. I'm like, I can't breathe on someone's open nutsack.
No, because that sounds really sexual, actually.
Well, it depends on how the breath comes out. If it's kind of hot and steamy or something, yeah, I could see a few select people getting turned on by that. Yeah, okay.
Ooh.
Take off your glasses. They're starting to fog.
Oh, hold on. No, so, yeah, I agree with you on that. And I know that it's not like this disease is going to go away in a month.
No.
But I'm hoping, and I'm not a doctor, that a lot of us already might have had the disease.
Yeah, right.
That we have antibodies.
That's what's going to happen now. I'm pretty that's actually now much more readily available than it was even 3 weeks ago. I know that we were offering it. We have a lot of doctors' offices are offering it, and they're going to have, but it's still got to be they need mobile finger stick, drive next person. Here's your test. And if we can figure out, okay, everybody that's got a positive antibody, needs, oh, hey, there we go. That's perfect timing here.
The show's producer.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's quality control also. She's making sure we've got, making sure we stay on time. She's giving us the light. Is that what it is?
He is telling us that we'll talk about this for another second, then we will go on to comedy. He's like, you're talking science, you're talking boring stuff. Our ratings are pretty darn low.
Oh, okay.
We're hoping that we're having an intelligent conversation, that the ratings might rise, but we might get that Esquire type audience.
Yes. I want to be the must-see porn TV,
Yes, but I think Joel McHale and Ken Jeong now have it with the Darkest Timeline podcast.
Oh, okay. What the hell is Ken Jeong talking? Is he talking about it as a doctor?
I don't know, because they were on Community, and the whole Darkest Timeline was a storyline that was on there.
Okay.
Which you can watch on Netflix. I don't know if you know this. I am desperately trying to get sponsors right now to help, because I have no budget for this show. And if I had sponsors, I'd be able to get a little bit of money. And Netflix would be a great sponsor, because they have shows like Community, The Office, Hollywood. Pretty much every show by Ryan Murphy is now on Netflix. Imagine that. Glee, Hollywood, whatever other shows he produces.
You want me to keep plugging this so Netflix sponsors us? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, that's I would Netflix to sponsor.
Big Netflix fan here. Ozark. I like all your original shows.
Yeah, every episode, Trailer Park Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And Orange is the New Black. I think that's a show on Netflix.
Yeah. Man. Right.
Netflix.
Well, I'm waiting for a red end to just come across the screen, but
maybe once we get a budget, we can actually get a graphics person to come and do something like that.
what do you pay a graphics person to do something like that?
I don't know. I think I'd probably find a kid from CCS to do it for free.
That's what you need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's the right
I need an intern for the show.
Yeah. In this economy. Yeah. We can finally say that again, in this economy,
Oh man, but Trump's been saying it forever. But this, he gave us the best economy ever.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like he was giving us, like he was comparing like the economy to like oral sex or something. Like, hey, you never had it as good as you got it from me.
Well, that's what he knows. I mean, I'm sure back in the day, he went to every New York swingers club, got a venereal disease, and has slowly been going insane.
We should be looking for like rash on his hands or some stuff that says he's got syphilis.
Is that a sign?
Yeah, I think that's one. If I remember correctly, yeah. Like
no offense, man. You are a doctor. I don't want to ever hear the words "I think."
Yeah, well, it's been a while since I've studied it. I really don't see a lot of syphilis people in my practice. I don't really want to.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, but his hands are small, so you might not be able to really see it.
Well, there's this really cool adventure called a magnifying glass, where you could look at it and maybe solve a mystery too.
It's probably orange. Yeah. It's like there's a shade of Crayola color called syphilis orange. Oh, what is that?
That is a horrible thing.
All right, let's color these dandelions syphilis orange.
No. Oh yeah, it's the Crayola. It's the Crayola set for sex addicts.
It's what color green is this? Gonorrhene.
There was a comedian back in Kansas City that really creeped me out, and there's a restaurant in one of the malls called the Crayola Cafe.
Okay.
And his joke would be going there and hanging out and people thinking he was a pedophile. Now, every time he told that joke, all I could think of was, man, no single guy over the age of 30 should know the Crayola Cafe exists.
What is it? Is it a kid for kids?
It's a Crayola store, and they have a little restaurant to the side.
Oh, okay. So it's like for moms and little kids that bring it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Probably like really isolated. Yeah, that's like level 6 creepy.
I mean, that's where they should film To Catch a Predator.
Yeah, right.
And Chris Hansen pretends he's the guy who works, he's the soda jerk.
Right. He's got a big bushy mustache.
I'd watch that.
Looks like Gene Takovics from Better Call Saul.
No, I do like that show. But let's get to comedy.
Yeah. All right.
What made you want to start doing it?
Oh, yeah. So we're going back here. I think
2 years ago. 2 years back.
We're 2.5 years ago. Yeah. So somewhere in 2017, I think. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people do it because they're compelled to. Like they just have these thoughts and their minds works that way, and they're just like, well, I need to tell somebody this. How do I do this? Well, what you do is you stand up on a stage with a microphone and you get people to listen to you. Okay. So it's stand-up comedy. So I probably started writing material 6 years ago, stopped for a while, was going to do the class at Ridley's like 5 years ago and just chickened out. And then, then I think I finally got sick of not doing it. And Thanksgiving of 2017, somebody said, go do an open mic. I know there's somebody that did it. They knew some friend of a friend was doing it. Corey Rice is his name. And I've done a couple shows with him, but I haven't seen him in a while. And then, I don't know, I found it on Facebook, and then I just started going to whatever open mics I could find. I started out, I mean, I didn't start out strong. I went to Laugh Tracks open mics.
What was your first open mic?
Laugh Tracks in Novi.
That was the first open mic I did when I moved back to Michigan.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
It was also the last show ever at Laugh Tracks.
Oh, yeah. It would have been because they closed about maybe 6 weeks after that, like the early 18.
January 2018, because Steve Vinny was hosting the show there. I got out at the last second, and I was floored that he gave everybody 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they gave me. Yeah. I don't, it wasn't Steve. It was, I don't know who hosted that night, but was, I mean, everybody was doing political shit. That's all I remember. And they gave me 10 minutes. I was like, I don't have 10 minutes of shit. I ended up doing 6-7 minutes of garbage. But there was like it was like 2 people that weren't comics that were there. I went back maybe one more time. And then like every other time I went, it was closed for like inexplicable reasons. You know, the owner just shut it.
Well, the first time I went there, the first and only time I went there, it should have been closed because there was no fucking heat. I'm on stage.
Yes. Yeah, it was fucking cold. I remember that. Yeah, it was, people were wearing coats in there because they didn't have any heat in the damn place.
It was fucked up. But
yeah.
I thought for me, that was a good first impression, the Detroit scene. But this is about you. So you went there, you did 6 minutes, and what kind of reaction did you get?
I remember doing a joke about Charlie Brown teachers doing Christmas, because I did some Christmas jokes and I got some chuckles on that. And then I did a joke about like I remember doing a joke about like people don't like to picture their parents having sex because it weirds them out. But I one time thought about them making me, and it kind of got me kind of turned on. And I kind of thought like, let me see if I can just milk this joke and make it really uncomfortable. And I started sweating, and it was just, yeah. So no, there was like no reaction to that. That was a bombing. Yeah, that's a joke that bombed, and you got to do those. You got to.
Did you happen to record that set?
Absolutely not. And I let nobody come to that one. Nobody. I didn't. My wife wouldn't come. Like nobody came to that one.
That is so smart that you should never bring people to your first time doing it.
Oh God, no! I think I went up maybe 3 or 4. I finally brought somebody after about 4th or 5 times, but I still should have waited longer. I still should have waited, but
let's fast forward, because I think the first time I saw you was either at the Tiki Bar or at a show at a hotel in Farmington Hills, where I'm pretty sure you brought the entire audience.
I brought probably 70% of them, and I have people in that audience who I'm still friends with. Actually, I will say this. I think my wife actually lost a friend based on that show.
Okay.
and at least 2 or 3 people that went to that show, because of what the rest of the show was like, and I won't need to tell you because you were there, just like, I'm never coming to any one of your shows again. Not because of you or me, but because of everything else. Just the way that show was run was kind of weird.
Oh, it was a sauna in there.
Yeah, it was bright sunlight because it was June. I remember that the sun hadn't even come close to setting. I said it was the triple Lindy of comedy. If you can do this with sunlight, no microphone, no alcohol, like if you can get laughs that way, that's pretty good.
There were a lot of good comics. Well,
there were good. No, I remember Jeff Ford was there, and
Jeff Ford was there. David Sutherland.
Yeah.
Sean
was there. Yeah.
One of the guys from Toledo, I think it was Joe. I can't remember.
Joe Morgan was there. Yes, that's right. Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
Closed the show, and then you had probably about 45 minutes from the host doing sets between everyone else's set.
Yeah, we were sitting out in the hallway. The people that hadn't gone yet were like relegated to the where like the kids, they had TV shows on for kids outside. And so I think Sutherland and I were watching like Paw Patrol, and we didn't know what was going on the other side of the wall.
It was smart. It was a terrible show, and I swore after that one that I will not go and support my friends if they were on that producer's shows anymore.
I don't blame you, and I'll never. I have a puppets, as you've seen on some of my things, but I will never bring them to an actual show. Like, there's no way I can do it. I can't do it without.
It's funny, that person, I think the last time I saw them was at Tiki Bar, and as I was walking out, they were filming a video, and they're like, "Oh, there's Robert. He'll never put me on any of his shows." And you can keep going, "You're right." It's like,
that show could have been much better. It was a good premise, but it was like, once I realized where it was going to be, the time, and how it was. No, and you learn from that. I mean, I think you've done your own shows. I've done my own shows, and I took away from that, like, okay, we're not doing this. I don't know what we're doing, but we're not doing this.
Running shows is difficult.
Yes. it's a fair amount of work. I mean, if you're setting up, if it's your equipment, getting the place, getting the time right, getting people, I mean, getting a crowd together, a lot. It's a lot going on.
Getting a crowd is the hardest thing, and we've been running shows. We've both been able to cultivate an audience of some sorts.
Yeah.
I'm worried that if my rooms come back once we're done with this, that my audience is not coming back. I don't know if you have the same worry.
Oh yeah, and even if we have if you have a room and you can say, hey, we can room for 50 people here, they're not going to let you pack them in. There's going to be tables spread out for a while. Even after things open up for several months, it's going to be half capacity of, even if you can get people out.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a challenge. People coming out for anything.
The other day, Nick Pizzuti and I were having a conversation, and I was telling him, I'm like, do you think the venues that survive and that paid us to do shows are going to have the budget to continue paying us?
Not right away. That's probably if they thought of it as like, hey, I was getting people in and it was a good promo, they might make room for it early on, but when places open up, they're going to be just like, shit, we just got to get business going. We just got to get people to come in and have a drink. I don't know if the comedy show is gonna always do that. It's the owners. It's really by owner, how they perceive it.
But it's going to be a very interesting situation because restaurants, I think, are going to be the last things to open up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, arenas and actual, not arenas, but like theaters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Venues that have a lot of people in them, that try to put a lot of people in them.
I mean, the two things I am itching to do beside comedy is go to a restaurant and go to a movie theater.
Sure. The movie theaters that's a reasonable thing to open early on, I think, because, they can say, hey, we're only limiting half capacity, I mean, for a big release, I don't know. What about like when they get the releases at like Christmas time that sell out the theaters? Are they going to do that?
Well, who knows? I mean, right now, all the studios are realizing they can make as much money, if not more, by just putting them on the stream on Amazon or Amazon or
drive-in theaters. They're gonna start popping up. I've heard of that. I don't know how that's gonna work, but
I fucking hate drive-in movie theaters.
How often have you gone to one? When's the last time you went to one?
Back when I was in high school, there used to be one on Grand River that we'd go to all the time.
Okay.
I mean, they were good for things like maybe getting a hand job and making out.
That was the only purpose.
And then panicking because you did it in your mom's car and having to clean it up.
Yeah, they gotta have to get the sound is not. They can't get the sound right. That's the thing,
I don't know. I like the movie theater experience. I like sitting down in a seat, having popcorn.
Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. A good movie in the theater is I think it just sounds so richer and like you can just see everything.
And it's just fun because you get the crowd involved. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Room.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, right. Now I've never seen it in the theater though. I've watched it just on my own when it first came out. Like, I saw it.
We're talking about the Tommy Wiseau movie, right?
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Not the Brie Larson Academy Award.
No.
But no, I mean, it's throwing spoons, it's yelling stuff at the screen. You can't do that at home. Like last week, I watched Rocky Horror, and I'm like, I actually like the movie. I actually love the movie. I love the sequel even more. Did you know?
Wow!
There was a sequel to Rocky.
Yeah, wow. You're treading on dangerous waters there.
I think Shock Treatment's a much better movie.
I haven't watched that one in 30 years, so maybe I'll watch it. But I did have Creature of the Night, whatever, pop in my head today. That scene with the Creature of the Night. I had that. I don't know why that came in my head. Like, all the different people come in and the crowd yells, "Switch!" Creature of the Night.
The best time I ever saw Rocky Horror is I was in California. I was on Balboa Island. There was a theater there with my cousin, her boyfriend, to it, and it was like the most decked out showing of it. They actually had performers in front of the screen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, in Michigan, we just throw rice.
I won a Rocky Horror book at Lakeside Mall. They had a surfing contest. They covered the whole aisle with rice. And whoever went the farthest, like, won or something. And I remember winning and like, oh, I got the Rocky Horror book. It's like
that say would be called a liability.
Yeah. And right afterwards, we went to the Big Boy at Garfield and Hall Road, which is still there and still open for curbside pickup. If you'd like.
You know what?
Strawberry pie.
I don't think Big Boy has the money, but I would kill for them to be a sponsor just to give me a free sandwich a week, because nothing is better than the Big Boy sandwich.
And the Brawny Lad?
Never had it. I like the Big Boy. That's all I'll get there.
I was a spaghetti fan. I love the spaghetti.
They have spaghetti there?
When I was a kid, that was like the garlic bread. It was the spaghetti and the garlic bread. You put them together.
I had no idea.
Yes. And I've taken my kids to Big Boy. We go camping up in the Thumb, and there's one on the way up, and we take them there. The kids like the hot fudge sundaes or something, and I get the spaghetti and garlic bread. I know it's not good as an adult, but I'm like, it's childhood memories.
It's weird. Like my diet during this time of hell that we're going through has gone really shitty. Like today, I had frozen burritos for lunch and rice.
Is anyone eating well here? I can't. No, I even like making my own food. I'm still just like, let's put some more butter in this. What the hell?
If coronavirus doesn't kill me, cholesterol will.
Right.
All right, let's get back to comedy.
Yeah.
You were on two shows. You run one at Smoky Joe's or Joe's Cigar?
Smoky's. It's just Smoky's, Cigar Bar and Bistro.
And then another one at the Anchor Bar.
The Anchor Bar was the one that started. Yeah, we had. We actually only got one show in there. And
I was supposed to be on the second one.
Yeah, we closed the second one down. That was when life shut down. So, yeah, Smokies, I think we had about 5 shows there, and they were looking to start an open mic, and that was actually, we were discussing like late March, let's get a Thursday night or a Wednesday night thing. And we had a bunch of dates at Anchor Bar set up, and a bunch of people lined up, and I didn't have any shows in May, and that's probably a good thing. I had one in June, but everything, I think I'm just waiting to, I don't know when the hell.
I don't think shows are going to happen until July.
Oh, yeah. I don't think so either.
I think house shows will start happening before then.
Like the Salsa Parlor?
Like Salsa Parlor. I think other ones people have already started talking about doing them.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing every Saturday night from my living room, but it's not the same. It's to an empty. It's like Conan O'Brien in an empty studio,
Well, I mean, I'm doing some virtual open mics. In fact, every Thursday now, I'm back at doing it.
Yeah, I was on one of them. I should jump on tomorrow.
Well, yes, you should drop on, but this will air some point next week. So.
Oh, okay.
I was supposed to start a freelance assignment on Monday, but I'm trying to get a whole bunch of these in the can.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I will say you were great on the one that we had on Thursday the 7th. You had an amazing set.
It was. I think I had been working on that material for a while and just sharpening it.
I think you went to the next level.
I went beyond the dick. That's where I went.
I saw that movie. it was a story. It was a story.
You weren't in it.
No, I wasn't in it. It was a lesbian film, or Sappho, as they might call it. And it was called Beyond the Dick. It was all about 2 women discovering what they can do beyond the dick.
I guess at some point we all got to figure out what's beyond it.
Yeah. Yeah. That should be the title of your autobiography, Beyond the Dick. My journey from dick doctor to comedian.
Or behind the dick, and just have a dick on the cover, and I'm just like peeking out behind it, like one man's journey from shaft around the shaft.
What you should do is just turn that into a one-man show that goes for 3 hours. Write the worst thing possible, and just see how many people can endure it.
Make up some Rocky Horror-esque show tunes, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, make it a musical. You play piano. I've seen some of the videos.
Yeah, there we go, you know.
All right. I have to ask this. What is up with the Ernie videos?
Oh, I love Sesame Street. I loved it when I was a kid. And then I actually watched a lot of it when I was like in adolescence, because I was just, you know, it was like summer, 10 o'clock in the morning, you'd get up, turn on, and I'd flip on. And then I kind of got this appreciation for the Muppetry of the Sesame Street in the 70s. I mean, those guys were brilliant. And then about 10 years ago, I was in Philadelphia, and I bought a bunch of puppets at a children's museum. And the Ernie puppet became like my favorite. It just, you know, it's a good expressive puppet. You can make him do things, and he's easy to move around. And I joke with my kids at night through Ernie puppet. I mean, half of my conversations I think are through that puppet.
Well, I don't know if you know this. I know a lot of people at the Children's Television Workshop, Disney, and Warner Brothers.
Sure.
And they wanted me to tell you to stop. And to say, you are ruining their intellectual property.
These are lawyers telling you this, or puppeteers? Because
lawyers, puppeteers, ghost of Jim Henson.
It could be worse. I could bust out Elmo and Big Bert and all these Cookie Monster and Grover. I haven't done that. Ernie's simple, and I don't know. I was making breakfast, and I liked the breakfast videos. I thought were
they're fun. They're funny.
They're okay.
I like them.
Yes, he's got a cult following now.
So what are your goals once comedy resumes?
Get my shows back up and running for sure. I mean, I think get the crowd back into it. You know, keep connecting with people in the area, and also I got like to sort of branch out and try to get in with some shows in Grand Rapids, Toledo. I mean, I haven't, you know, or just go to other cities and do shows wherever I can get stage time. Yeah, we all got to get better at this, right? I mean, none of us are like at our best yet.
Well, no, we're all starting. We're going to start. All of us are going to be starting over at ground zero, or at the starting line again.
There's going to be about. I bet you probably need to do about 3 or 4 showcases to get the rust out. And
I'm just hoping all the open mics that I like are going to be coming back.
Right. I don't know. Yeah.
Like, the one I'm worried about, I'm not worried about the person who does it, because I think he'll find another venue.
Yeah.
Is the Tiki Bar will not be reopening.
May not. Right. You think just that because of that venue is not going to make it or something? I mean, it's summer now. This is when they make their money. So.
Well, that's the other problem. They will not be able to pack that place.
Yeah. Well, outdoors maybe, but having a comedy show there in the summer was never that well attended. It was much better in the colder months.
No, that is true, but yeah, I don't know that place. I don't know. I hope it reopens because that's one of my favorite mics. I like.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, that was the third place I went. That was actually the first open mic I went to that had a crowd, and I actually felt like, oh, this is what it's supposed to do. Because I went to Laugh Tracks a couple times. Then I did New Way once, and I brought a friend and my cousin, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna do it. It's a Monday night. Come to this show. And it was like, I didn't know what to tell them. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I don't even know what I'm doing. What are we doing here? Like,
yeah. That I've had good sets there. I've also had shitty sets there, but I can't deal with a host who will do 40 minutes up top.
I was both times I went there, it was not the host. It was Paul Pipitone or something. And
it's great when he does it.
Yeah, he was reasonable. But I still was less like I didn't know if I was funny, but I was like, hey, wait a minute, this other comic is actually pretty good, but why is no one laughing at? That was a pretty good joke. That was a real well done joke.
That's the problem with open mics. They are the worst thing in the world, but they're also the best thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember, all right, there was, for the Tiki Bar, I was supposed to close it out, but I got sent to Dubai. And there was a guy who was hosting it. I don't know his name, but he sent me this email saying, actually, I'll read the email. Hold on. It's pretty funny.
Readily available.
Because of the power of the internet.
You have it at your fingertips here.
Hi, Robert. My name is blank, and I'm hosting at the Beach Tiki Bar next week, and I'm challenging all the comics to bring at least 2 people with them just because it's way more fun all in capitalized, to perform for 30, because it's more fun to perform for 30 people than it is for 11 people. Can't wait to see ya. Have a great weekend.
Are you up to the challenge?
So I responded, hi, I appreciate you messaging me. I will not be there because I'm currently in Dubai for work. When I do open mics, I do not want to bring friends to them. My goal of Mike is to work on new material. I don't want friends to hear my jokes until they are polished.
That's reasonable.
And
if you're new, you're going to bring friends early and you don't care. But if you've been doing this a while, like, I'm not bringing friends to open mic.
But you won't, yeah, you're right. Because you only want to bring friends to shows that matter. Like the
Saturday night. Right. Yes. Or a hotel in Farmington Hills on a Friday.
How did you convince all those people to come there?
I was a rookie. That was the first invited show. I was like, it's dumb. I was like, oh, they like me. They want me on this show.
That's crazy.
So,
I mean, yeah, I get that. I
I
have done shows I probably shouldn't have done. And I ended up working for a promoter, working with him to book shows for him.
Yeah.
Which I probably shouldn't have done.
Yeah. It's good advice to tell young comics is like, hey, be careful about trying to get everybody to shows early on. Don't do that until it's a good show, until you've got something that's worthwhile, that you've had some,
Or that you are part of a show where you might only get 5 minutes, but the lineup is stacked.
Correct. Yeah, that's reasonable. Like to say, hey, you can if you're surrounded by other good talent, people are going to have a good time and they're going to have a better memory of your set than if you're surrounded by puppets and Ernies.
Yes. Or just my favorite thing when you see on the open mics are the what shall I talk about next?
Hold on. Oh yeah. There's this. Yeah. So hold on. Yeah. So anybody here on Bumble? They're like, no, wait. It took you that long to look at your phone and come up with a Tinder joke.
Yeah. And those are the people that ask to get on shows. I don't know if you've encountered that.
A little bit. Probably you've seen it more than I have.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've only done 6-7 shows of my own, and I've made sure I've had people that are like, hey, I've seen you, and you can hold your own, and you don't flub around, and you don't dick around on the mic, and you don't run the light, you don't go 2 minutes over, and people are trying to gently nudge you off the stage.
Oh, I will say I am someone who has run the light several times.
You can run the light if you're doing well, and you kind of that you're like, okay, I'm gonna finish this joke. But I've seen people run the light and then they're going through a joke and they're following it up. I'm like, okay, and then they start another one, and you're like, whoa, you can't start a new premise bit after you've run the light. But
a good comic knows where to begin and knows where to end. He knows that he has to get to that closing joke. And
right.
There are times where I got lit early because the show was running long, and I'm like, all right, I got to kill this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to my closing joke.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You got to finish as strong as you can.
So let's go back to, so you want to go to other cities. What
Sure.
about festivals? I mean, I don't think any festivals happening this year.
No, I've applied only to Gilda's, whatever, and the Paul Bunyan, and I think one other. I didn't. Yeah, I would love to. I mean, just for the experience.
I think
And
they
networking.
are fun as fuck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Paul Bunyan was supposed to be last weekend, but what's your favorite? What's your favorite festival? Because you said you've been to a couple duds.
I think the first Paul Bunyan was my favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's because all of us who are on it bonded pretty well.
Yeah.
And like, I can call all those people and get on shows pretty much in whatever city they're in. And
sure. Yeah.
like I was in LA for work and I got on a show at Flappers. It was
Nice.
a shitty open mic, but I still got on. I got to go first. And
yeah. And that was because of somebody you met at Paul Bunyan?
Yeah.
Okay. How many out of town, how many like out of staters do they get for that one?
The first year, quite a bit. There was maybe a quarter of us were from here. It was like me, Tina Green, Louis Michael, Steve Hansen, Matt Bach, and a few other people. But most of them were from California, Minnesota, Pennsylvania.
Seems like Minnesota and Wisconsin should be well represented at a Paul Bunyan festival.
Yeah. Yeah, the first year was great. All the shows were packed.
Yeah.
It was a fun time. The second year, it was fun, but not as fun because there were shows that maybe had 2 people there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I was hoping this year I would have gotten in again and been able to.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 51st jokes. I know that wasn't a festival, but that's a lot of fun. I mean, that was a really good time.
That is an amazing show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was. I was once I kind of saw what was going on with it, I was like, oh wow, I'm so happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here.
I was so pissed before the show started.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you the story. So a bunch of us went out for dinner beforehand to a restaurant right around the corner. And there was a comic, I won't mention their name, but that person was like, hey, let's tell our jokes to each other. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
So I was hoping they would just go around me. So I got to go last. I told my joke, and he's like, well, you have the rest of the year to come up with jokes better than that. And it got in my fucking head. I'm like, fuck you. This is why I didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
And we went to the show, and I'm calling people. And should I just do something else because I'm fucking freaking out?
Yeah.
And I was talking to Bill Morrison, and he calmed me down. He's like, do your joke. Do the joke you have. It's a funny joke.
Right.
I did it. I got an applause break during it.
I remember. Yeah, it was crowd was into it. It was good.
And I just looked over at that person and just gave the fuck you.
My joke. I have regrets about my bit I did there, but oh well. You
got a good reaction to it.
It wasn't bad. I've watched the tape and I was like, I don't know. But I've had 4 months to write better jokes.
We all have. I mean, that's a joke you write a few days before or the day of.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna remember this year as the year that I went to Prankus on my birthday, which is January 13th, and I did a joke about how I never get sick and how I have a gangster immune system and describing my immune system. And it got a really good laugh. I mean, people were really enjoying, the idea of your immune system, threatening viruses and stuff. And then I got sick twice in February and now wearing this. It was the worst. It turned out to be just like, what have I unleashed? Just the worst karma from that joke ever.
No, as I was telling Nicole Melnick when she was on the show, that it's her fault that we're in this.
Okay.
Because like,
I'm glad it was not mine.
no, because I had her booked for a show in January at Farmers, and that day we had a huge winter storm.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, I wasn't in the December one.
Yeah, you were in the month before, and then the show that we were having at the comic shop, was going on, and then the week of, this happened.
Yeah.
And I started.
She was the common thread.
Yeah, I started some ciphering, some figuring, and then I'm like, all right, it's Nicole Melnick's fault.
Well, I mean, I got COVID and I wasn't very sick. I got sick for 2-3 days, so maybe my immune system I can still bounce off it, and then I'll just unleash some other murder hornets virus.
No, don't.
It's gonna be like there's gonna be a virus called the Melnick virus,
or the Gilleran.
We already got that name for something else.
Yeah, that's true. Right. So I have a couple more things to talk about before we call it a day. So last year, your wife started doing comedy. What is that like at home? Are you always like trying to compete with each other who has better punchlines? Or
no, it's not. It's not a competition. We've kind of established that, I think. Right, honey? Oh, she's here, and he's asking about. Oh, you can't hear this. You can't hear. I'm on this. No, it's not a competition. We like to try to help each other out. Talking about you doing.
There's no competition. You're funnier. Like I can't.
She said
I'm a better performer. He is a better writer. Can we just agree on that?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. That's reasonable. Okay.
We have it on video.
Yes.
What do you say?
Well, I mean, she's.
Hi, Robert.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello. She's on. You're on the quarantine check-in. Yes.
Oh. Sorry.
That's okay. You can come in and say.
I didn't know you were doing an actual show.
It's okay. It's just taping it. We're taping it for Netflix one day. No. Well, she's just a different persona on stage. She's bubbly and happy, and not that I'm not like dour guy, but we each have our own sort of style, and it's funny because I've got some jokes that end up being like, hey, this is actually about maybe being married or something, and I'm like, this actually sounds better coming from you, but I mean, we had to last minute we did a show Saturday, and we had to write some jokes about loss of taste with COVID, like you can't taste anything, so I quickly helped her write something about how she ate some Skittles, but she couldn't taste the rainbow.
That'd be hell.
Yeah, if you can't taste the rainbow.
The chemical rainbow is one of the tastiest things on the planet.
You can't taste. I can only taste greens number 1 through 7. I can't taste anything higher than 7. Smoking Marlboros. You can't go to flavor country when you don't have any taste. Just tasteless jokes. Tasteless jokes.
That could also be a name for your one-man show.
Tasteless. Yeah. Tasteless jokes. One man's journey from COVID to comedy.
All right, man. This has been a blast. But before we go, I have. I usually end the show on the same way.
Okay.
I have become a big fan of Craigslist misconnections.
Right.
I am going to read one to you, and hopefully you can crack a joke off of it.
Okay.
So this one was from Saturday in Macomb County, and
great county, tremendous county.
So the headline is "Lonely Collage Girl." I think she meant college.
Okay.
All right. Not really sure what to put here. I'm looking to see what is out there. I am unmarried. Can't condom use. I'm clean and safe and expect the same.
Can't condom use?
Yeah.
Is he also can't shoe wear? Can't pants upstay.
But
verbs. It's like clearly this guy went to a very prestige collage.
No, it's a female. It's a female.
Oh, she's the lonely collage girl. And she's saying
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's not really clear. I assumed it was a girl because it said "lonely collage girl" as the header.
Has a girl
Maybe
ever
there's
said
a guy.
has a girl ever said can't condom use? That's amazing, those 3 words in that order.
What really got me were the words, I'm clean and safe and expect the same. Now, as a medical doctor, someone who has degrees from places that might be the University of Michigan or Wayne State University,
Right.
or the Barbados City College of Medicine.
American Samoa, yeah.
If someone says they're clean and safe, is that normally true?
That's almost the equivalent of saying, like, I'm not racist, but it's like I'm clean and safe, so
before I usually have sex for the first time with a girl, I usually tell her that I'm adequate, and then she's surprised either that I'm really poor at it or really good at it. I kind of temper the expectations up front.
I don't think you should say anything about what you are before you get in the bedroom. You just, like, if you're gonna do this, let's just do this. I'm clean and safe. Are you?
I'm clean and safe and quick.
Yeah. Right.
I am done before I even got with you.
Right. If you're gonna catch something from me, you only got 20 seconds, so you can't catch a lot.
Oh man, this is awesome. Where can people see your weekly Saturday shows?
Hard G Comedy on Facebook. They're all Facebook Live, but they're all there. We've had about 4 or 5. Each one's about 30, 40 minutes long. We've had some piano in there. We hope to be back Saturday, 9 o'clock. If you don't catch it live, but they're all there to be watched. And there's some good stuff in there. I've watched them back, and I've been, happy with some of the stuff's going to stay. I've got some stuff that I'm like, I'm going to bring this one out for real when we actually go back.
Yeah, let me ask you this. How do you think comedy is going to change when we're all back? Because it's going to happen.
How is it going to change? Well, we're probably only going to be allowed to joke about this time period for about 14 days after the quarantine ends.
I'm going to tell you on any of my shows, there will be no jokes about it, unless they're clever.
Right. Well, yeah, but I've got to have to pick my best stuff from here and do some of it a little bit,
But do you think there's going to be a change of what people are going to want to hear? Do you think the dark stuff is going to have to go away, or do you think it's going to have to become a little bit more PG-13?
I think it's still, I think in some ways, if you think of like who likes comedy, I mean, not non-comics, but people that like comedy that go to shows, they're probably really, really would love to go back now, would love to go see a show, and if I think it's going to be like, I don't know. I think anything good's going to be welcomed in that way, but how I think, again, I hate. Remember, think of Detroit to LA at Ridley's, and just how many people were there. Are they ever going to be able to do that? Like, ever going to be able to have, 300 people in that place?
No.
That's what's going to suck. I mean, like having a really big, dense crowd, because dense crowds actually are better. They really help comedy, but dense crowds are the scores that brought us to this.
I think we are going to, until there's a vaccine, I think 25 to 30% of the audience is what we'll be able to cap in those places.
I was thinking, I'm trying to be optimistic, more 40, 50%, but you're right. It's going to be, you know what? If we like doing it, we're going to still plug along and if things come around again, it sucks because the scene here was really strong. I mean, it was really good.
I think the scene will always be good here. I just think it's going to have to adapt to the new normal.
Right.
On that part, I will have to end the show. But before that, we have a great show for tomorrow. An amazing show. We have Kyle Forsyth on.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Big fan. I like Kyle.
He's great. I'm excited about it. Thank you so much for doing this. I will have your wife on probably at some point in the next week.
Ah, okay. All right.
I will have the Gilleran clan, and your kids don't do comedy, do they?
Not yet.
Good.
No,
I don't have space for them.
But my son, my 11-year-old has helped me write some. He's got some good one-liners that he's come up with.
Please tell me he wrote all your dick jokes.
Third of them, maybe.
Okay. On that note, thank you so much, man.
All right, Robert.
Stay safe, and hopefully I will see you sooner than later.
Sounds good.
All right.
Have a
See you
great
guys
day.
tomorrow.